everyone, and welcome to the WWE discussion. I'm your host and WWE enthusiast, Doug. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing Monday Night Raw, November 20th, 2023 edition. And ahead of Survivor Series War Games, this episode of Raw would announce the return of Randy Orton in Survivor Series, but the Viper will not be seen until he lines up with his teammates at Survivor Series. Gunther and The Miz traded blows in the microphone ahead of their Intercontinental Championship match. Becky Lynch versus Xia Li. Nia Jax versus Raquel Rodriguez, a women's fatal 4-way tag match to crown number one contenders for the women's tag team titles, and more highlighted a major night for the women's division. Shinsuke Nakamura picked up another huge win, defeating Chad Gable. He seemed poised for a special moment at Survivor Series, but has yet to be announced for the show. Overall, Raw was an exciting show that promised even more to come at Survivor Series War Games. And with that, we'll go ahead and get right into the action, starting with Randy Orton. So, it was interesting how they went about announcing his return, and I think it does raise a valid question of, did WWE botch the return announcement? Personally, I don't think they did, but I can see how people might think that, and I think it would have been better for him to have made his appearance on Monday Night Raw. Over the past few weeks, WWE has teased the return of Randy Orton after a lengthy injury absence, and it was finally confirmed at the end of Monday's Raw, but not in a way that perhaps many expected. Fans were probably tuning in to see the Viper, actually on TV. Instead, Cody Rhodes, well, it wouldn't even say his name, which I don't really get what that was all about. Like, what even was that? It was only after Raw went off the air that WWE officially announced that Orton would be the fifth member, likely because of the speculation around a potential return for Chicago native CM Punk. WWE did not want to wait until Survivor Series to announce Orton's comeback in case fans were expecting Punk. Granted, I think all you did was just, quiet all the talk about him being in War Games. You didn't quiet the rumors about him coming back. There's no quieting that down. There's no doing that, but at least he took out the War Games factor. However, the best option would have been to make the moment happen on Monday's Raw in front of a hot Grand Rapids crowd that had elevated the show consistently throughout the night. By delaying the Survivor Series pop, maybe it doesn't hit as hard. I don't 100% believe that. I think it will still be a very loud pop. I think it will go very hard. And then the women's division. 27 women were featured on the show. It's got to be a record of some kind. So overall, good night for the WWE women's division. As the Raw highlighted a variety roster, including some SmackDown stars. Becky Lynch and Xia Li delivered in a long-awaited battle that is by far the best work of Li's career. Nia Jax showed her value in a hard-hitting battle for Raquel Rodriguez. The Irresistible Force continues to pick up steam as a potential future challenger for Rhea Ripley. Even the women's tag team division delivered more than expected in a fun fatal 4-way in which Maxine Dupree continues to show her growing value, and Tegan Nox and Natalya set the course for a title match against Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Combined with more War Games build that included the appearance of Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, and Shotzi, as well as the final build for Ripley versus Zoe Stark, and it was a night to remember for the women. So, yeah, good on them getting all that screen time. And then Gunther. So we know what he can do in the ring, but perhaps there were still some questions about what he can do on the mic, and if those questions did exist prior to this episode of Raw, then they should be answered because he showed what he can do on the mic. And since becoming Intercontinental Champion, Gunther has taken the wrestling world by storm. He proved his worth in NXT UK as the NXT UK champion, but it was unclear how far he would go on the main roster. But throughout 2023, he has shown that he can be a main event bad guy. His work in the ring has carried him great heights, but the final step required him to prove himself on the microphone. And he did just that. He went after The Miz on the mic ahead of their Survivor Series match. While the A-lister has always been good on the mic, it is rare that a superstar can match him when Miz is working a serious angle. The ring general stood out even above Miz in this verbal clash. It was a special performance from a man who looks poised to be a world champion sooner than later, and no one has earned a world title run in WWE more than the ring general. Shinsuke Nakamura. So, despite all of the things that have been going on for him recently, it seems like a missed opportunity. It is quite interesting, and it is a missed opportunity, leaving him off the Survivor Series card. Nakamura has built up an impressive winning streak as of late. His latest win was the biggest yet as he defeated Chad Gable, who is still a star on the rise. More interestingly, the artist has continued to tease wanting to challenge someone in particular. Now, there is talks about it being CM Punk. A lot of people believe that. It's probably not CM Punk. It's probably not, but that should not stop WWE from paying off the teases at the last pay-per-view of 2023 for the main roster anyway, or premium live event for the main roster. NXT still has deadline to close out the year. This could be a chance for a big return, a debut, or an NXT call-up, especially if Randy Orton's return initially spoiled. WWE could make something big happen here, and it'd be a waste to keep Nakamura off the card after all the momentum he's built for himself since losing to Seth Rollins in that last man standing match. Even if the worry is about the reaction to it being somebody not CM Punk, WWE should just go ahead anyway and try to deliver something special for Survivor Series. And honestly, that should be their focus anyway if they don't have CM Punk available, which honestly at this point I'm just going to go ahead and say he's not going to be there. And you know what, hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I hope that I'm wrong because I don't think he's going to show up. I don't think he's going to show up, and I hope that I'm wrong. There we go. But and if he's not there, then hopefully WWE has something in mind, because it's going to get quite loud if CM Punk doesn't show up and you don't deliver something at Survivor Series to get people talking about the fact that he didn't show up. But I don't think that should be an issue. I think War Games, the women's matchup will deliver. The men's matchup, especially the return of Randy Orton, will deliver. Miz versus Gunther is a sneaky good matchup. Even if people might not be talking about it as much. Carlito versus Santos Escobar, also another sneaky good matchup too. So yeah, I think Survivor Series will be able to stand out fine on its own without CM Punk. Granted, he would make a great addition to it, but I think it'd be fine without him. So in conclusion, this week's Raw managed to deliver some enjoyable in-ring action and a solid go-home show heading into Survivor Series this weekend. 27 women were featured on the episode across various matches, segments, and video packages, which might be some kind of record for a non-Royal Rumble show. Every match was enjoyable on some level, but the best performance in that goes to Gargano and Kaiser, with Lynch and Lee being second. War Games is always a fun stipulation, and with the return of Orton set for the pay-per-view, fans in Chicago are going to be in for a great time. As a whole, it feels like WWE programming has hit its stride recently. It's not perfect, but the shows have been consistently more enjoyable from start to finish, and that is better for everybody. And with that will conclude this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.